Most people think The Godfather was about crime. It wasn't. It was about power. And power follows rules. Picture this. You're sitting across from the most powerful man in the room. He hasn't raised his voice once. He hasn't threatened anyone. He hasn't needed to. Every person in that room knows exactly who he is, what he's capable of, and what it means to cross him. And somehow, despite all of that, they respect him, not just fear him, respect him. That combination is rare. That combination is everything. So what made him that way? What were the actual rules he lived by? Because here's what most people miss. The Godfather wasn't just a story about crime. It was a blueprint. A set of principles that, if you study them closely enough, apply to every field, every ambition, every goal you're working toward. These 10 rules are connected. Pull one out and the others start to weaken. So pay attention, because by the end of this, you'll be looking at your own life completely differently. Rule 10. Know exactly what you want. Not approximately, exactly. Most people move through life with a vague idea of what success looks like. Something better than this. Something more than now. That's not a goal, that's a wish. The Godfather never operated on wishes. From the time he had nothing, he knew with absolute precision what he was building toward. Not just for himself, but for his name, his family, his legacy. That clarity was the foundation every other rule was built on. Without it, the other 9 don't matter. So before you go any further, answer this honestly. What does your version of success actually look like? What are the specific milestones? What does the finished picture look like in detail? Get that clear first. Only then does the work begin to mean something. Rule 9. Become indispensable. Not just good, indispensable. The Godfather understood something that most people never figure out. People don't come back to someone because they like them. They come back because they need them. Because that person solves a problem nobody else can solve. Because they're reliable in a way that's become almost impossible to find. The key is identifying what unique skill or value you bring that nobody around you can easily replicate. And then getting so good at it that removing you from any situation creates a visible gap. That's real leverage. Not titles, not connections. Pure, undeniable usefulness. Rule 8. Treat everyone with respect. Every single person. This one surprises people. They expect someone at that level to be cold, dismissive, untouchable. He was the opposite. From the most powerful senator in the room to the baker on the corner, the Godfather treated people with genuine respect. And that wasn't weakness. That was strategy. Every person you dismiss, you turn into a potential enemy. Every person you respect, you turn into a potential ally. And you never, not ever, fully know what someone is capable of doing for you or against you. The man who feels seen and respected will go to lengths you can't predict. The man who feels humiliated will do the same. The difference is the direction. Rule 7. Let your actions speak louder than your words. There are people who talk about what they'll do. There are people who do it. The Godfather fell into the second category so completely that when he did speak, every word carried the weight of a contract. People knew that if he said something, it happened. That wasn't charisma. That wasn't personality. That was a track record built deliberately over years. Here's the real lesson. Most people think influence comes from what you say. It doesn't. It comes from what people know you've done. Build the record first. The words will carry themselves. Rule 6. Never ignore the warning signs, not even the small ones. This might be the most important rule on this entire list. Study history long enough and you'll find the same pattern repeating. Great empires, dominant companies, legendary athletes, all falling apart, not because of some massive sudden failure, but because of small signs they chose to ignore. A problem that seemed manageable. A risk that seemed unlikely. A crack in the foundation that nobody wanted to address. The Godfather never made that mistake. When he saw something that needed attention, he addressed it immediately. The cost of early action is always smaller than the cost of late reaction. Always. Rule 5. Carry yourself like the version of yourself you're working to become. This is where people misunderstand the rule completely. This is not about arrogance. Arrogance without substance is just noise. What the Godfather had was something different. He carried himself with a quiet, unshakable confidence that told every room he walked into exactly how he expected to be treated. And here's the mechanism behind it. The way you carry yourself signals your own valuation of yourself to everyone around you. Set it too low and people treat you accordingly. Set it high, back it up with real capability, and something shifts. People begin to treat you the way you've decided you deserve to be treated. Just be careful. This only works when the confidence is earned. When it isn't, everyone can tell. Rule 4. Think several moves ahead, always. A chess player who only sees the current board position will always lose to a player who sees where the board is going. The Godfather trained himself to think in sequences. Before any action, he thought through the reactions to that action. Then the reactions to those reactions. He kept a trusted inner circle around him precisely because more perspectives meant fewer blind spots. Most people respond to what's already happening. The Godfather was already prepared for what hadn't happened yet. That gap is the difference between being reactive and being in control. Rule 3. Keep learning. Your whole life. The Godfather never had a formal education. He had something more useful. The discipline to extract a lesson from every experience he went through, and the humility to listen to people who knew more than him about a given subject. That second part is what most successful people struggle with. Once you reach a certain level, the ego starts filtering out information that challenges your existing beliefs. The Godfather never let that happen. He sought out people who disagreed with him. He heard them out. He applied what was worth applying. That process never stopped for him. The moment you decide you've learned enough, you've started falling behind. Rule 2. Never get too comfortable, not even after the wins. Here's the danger nobody warns you about: success itself. Once the early goals start getting reached, once the foundation starts feeling solid, there's a pull toward comfort, toward slowing down, toward enjoying what you've built instead of protecting and growing it. The Godfather never fell for it. Every time he reached a new level, he was already looking at the next challenge, the next vulnerability, the next person who might see his position and decide to test it. Complacency is not a pause. It's the beginning of a fall. And falls from high positions are never gradual. They're collapses. Rule 1. Be patient. Genuinely, ruthlessly patient. This is the rule that holds every other rule together. And it's the hardest one. We live in a world that rewards speed, shortcuts, quick wins, and those things have their place. But the kind of power, respect, and lasting success that the Godfather built, that doesn't come from rushing. It comes from putting in years of work without demanding immediate results. From trusting the process when the process feels slow. From staying disciplined when everything around you is telling you to cut corners. The Godfather believed in the end goal so completely that short-term discomfort never moved him. He was playing a longer game than everyone else in the room. And that patience, more than any single skill or advantage he had, is what made him unbeatable. So there they are. 10 rules, 1 framework. The goal isn't to copy what the Godfather did. The goal is to understand why it worked. These principles didn't belong to one man or one story. They belong to every person throughout history who built something that lasted. The information is in front of you. The rules are clear. What happens next is entirely on you.